The Empire had conquered 300 star systems in less than 50 years. Their warships moved through the galaxy like hungry wolves, eating everything in their path. No species had ever stopped them. No weapon had ever pierced their shields. They believed themselves to be gods among the stars, and for a long time, nobody could prove them wrong. When their sensors first detected the small blue planet called Earth, the commanders laughed. The humans had barely reached their own moon. Their technology was primitive. Their weapons were toys. The invasion would take 3 days at most, and then Earth would become another mining colony for the Empire. Admiral stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. Behind him floated 200 warships, each one capable of destroying a continent. He looked at the planet Earth on his and felt nothing but contempt. These creatures had no idea what was coming for them. The human government sent desperate messages into space, begging for mercy, offering surrender, ignored them all. The Empire did not negotiate with insects. He gave the order to begin the bombardment, and his fleet moved into position around Earth. But something strange happened as they approached. Deep beneath the frozen ice of Antarctica, sensors began to wake up. Machines that had been sleeping for 80 years started to hum with power. Lights flickered on in tunnels that humans had forgotten existed. A computer system older than most people alive began running calculations that no living person understood. In the year 1962, during the darkest days of the Cold War, both America and the Soviet Union had discovered something terrifying. They found evidence that aliens existed, and those aliens were hostile. For a brief moment, enemies became partners. The two superpowers secretly worked together on a project so classified that only 12 people in the entire world knew about it. They called it Project Omega. Using technology recovered from crashed alien probes, human scientists built something that should have been impossible. They created a warship unlike anything the world had ever seen. It was not meant to fight other humans. It was built for one purpose only, to defend Earth against invasion from the stars. The ship was named the Prometheus. It measured 2 kilometers from front to back. Its hull was made from materials that did not appear on any periodic table. Its weapons could crack moons in half. Its engines could bend space itself. It was humanity's secret guardian, hidden beneath the ice, waiting for the day it would be needed. When the project ended, the ship was never activated. The scientists died. The politicians forgot. The records were destroyed. The Prometheus sat in the darkness, patient and silent, its AI watching the stars through hidden satellites. For 80 years it waited. Now its time had finally come. Captain was 42 years old. She had served in the United Nations Space Defense Force for 20 years. When the alien fleet appeared, she was stationed at a research base in Antarctica, studying ice core samples. She had no idea that her life was about to change forever. The ground beneath her feet began to shake. Alarms she had never heard before started screaming. Then, a door appeared in the wall of her laboratory. A door that had not existed 5 minutes ago. Blue light spilled through the opening, and a voice spoke directly into her mind. "You are needed, Captain. Earth is under attack. You have been selected to command the Prometheus." Wanted to run. She wanted to hide. But she was a soldier, and soldiers did not run from duty. She stepped through the door and found herself in a corridor that looked like it belonged in a science fiction movie. The walls were smooth and silver. The air smelled like electricity. She followed the blue lights until she reached a massive chamber. The Prometheus hung before her, impossibly large, impossibly beautiful. It looked like a sword made of starlight. Felt tears running down her cheeks, though she did not know why. She climbed into the command chair and the ship accepted her. Information flooded her brain. She understood everything. The weapons, the shields, the engines. It was as if she had been born to fly this ship. The AI spoke to her again, explaining that the ship had been scanning humanity for 8 decades, looking for the perfect commander. It had found her. Admiral was preparing to fire when his sensors detected something rising from Earth's southern pole. At first, he thought it was a missile. Then the object kept getting larger on his screens. His tactical officers began shouting in confusion. The readings made no sense. The Prometheus cleared Earth's atmosphere in 3 seconds. It hung in space like a silver ghost, facing 200 warships alone. Stared at it with his 4 eyes, feeling an emotion he had not experienced in decades: fear. He ordered his fleet to open fire. 200 ships unleashed their weapons at once: plasma bolts, antimatter missiles, gravity bombs. The sky lit up with enough firepower to shatter a planet. The Prometheus did not move. It did not need to. The ship's shields absorbed everything. The attacks splashed against them like rain against a window. Inside, the command chair smiled. She could feel the ship around her, eager and ready. It had waited so long for this moment. She began with the forward cannons. Twin beams of pure white energy lanced out across space. They cut through shields like paper. 3 warships exploded in the first second. Then 3 more. The beams swept across the fleet, leaving only fire and debris behind. Screamed orders at his captains. They tried to scatter. They tried to retreat. But the Prometheus was faster than anything they had ever seen. Its engines folded space, allowing it to appear anywhere it wanted. One moment it was in front of them. The next, it was behind them. Then it was above them, raining death from every direction. The ships fought back with everything they had. Their weapons hammered the Prometheus without pause. But the human ship was not just strong. It was smart. Its AI had spent 80 years studying alien technology, learning its weaknesses. Every shot the Prometheus fired hit exactly where it would cause maximum damage. Felt like she was dancing. The ship moved with her thoughts, responding to her instincts before she even formed them into words. She twisted through the enemy formation, her weapons singing. She was not just fighting, she was performing. Watched his fleet die around him. 100 ships gone in 5 minutes, then 150. His legendary armada was being slaughtered by a single vessel. He thought about all the species the Empire had crushed, all the civilizations they had erased from existence. He wondered if any of them had felt this kind of hopeless terror. The Eternal Dominion was the last ship standing. Ordered his crew to fire everything, to ram the enemy if necessary. But it was pointless. The Prometheus appeared directly in front of his bridge, so close that he could see every detail of its hull. Looked at the alien admiral through the... She saw the fear in his strange eyes. Part of her wanted to show mercy. But then she thought about what they had come to do. They had come to enslave her people, to destroy her world. There could be no mercy for that. She fired one final shot. The Eternal Dominion became a ball of expanding gas, and Admiral became nothing at all. The battle was over. 200 warships, the pride of a galactic empire, had been reduced to floating scrap metal. The Prometheus hung alone in the silence of space, its hull unmarked, its shields still at full power, leaned back in her command chair and allowed herself to breathe. The alien satellites watching from distant systems transmitted the battle footage back to space. The Emperor himself watched it 17 times, unable to believe what he was seeing. His invincible fleet, destroyed by a species they had considered primitive. It was impossible. It was humiliating. But more than that, it was terrifying. Because if the humans had been hiding this weapon all along, what else might they have? What other secrets were buried beneath their planet's surface? The Emperor gathered his advisors and made a decision that would have seemed unthinkable 1 day ago. He ordered all forces to stay away from Earth. The invasion was canceled. The news spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Species that had lived in fear of the Empire for generations suddenly felt hope stirring in their hearts. The humans had done what no one else could do. They had stood against the conquerors and won. Returned the Prometheus to its resting place beneath the ice. The AI told her that the ship would sleep again, waiting for the next time it was needed. She walked back through the silver corridors, knowing that her life could never be the same. She had touched something ancient and powerful, something that connected her to all the humans who had built this miracle decades ago. When she emerged into the cold Antarctic air, she found helicopters waiting for her. Government officials, military commanders, reporters from every nation. They all wanted to know what had happened. They all wanted to see the hero who had saved Earth. Looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Empire was licking its wounds. Somewhere out there, other species were learning that humans were not the weak primitives everyone had assumed. The galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. She thought about the scientists from 1962, the ones who had built the Prometheus in secret. They had never lived to see their creation in action. They had died not knowing if their work would ever matter. But it had mattered. It had mattered more than anything in human history. The Prometheus would continue to watch and wait. Perhaps it would never be needed again. Perhaps new enemies would come and new battles would be fought. Either way, humanity was ready. They had proven something important today. They had proven that the small blue planet orbiting a yellow star was not weak. It was not primitive. It was not an easy target. Earth had shown the galaxy what happened to those who underestimated humans, and it was a lesson that nobody would ever forget.